What is project-based learning? Project-based learning is a teaching method in which learners learn by actively engaging in real-world and personally meaningful projects. Learners perform on a project over an extended period, from a day up to a semester, that engages them in solving a real-world problem or answering a complex question. Through projects and portfolios, learners have the opportunities to study an area more thoroughly and develop new skills and understanding. These would enable them to demonstrate their knowledge and skills by creating a product or presentation for a real audience. A project should cover competencies from multiple learning strands in the curriculum. The learner is encouraged to focus on topics that they find interesting and relevant and useful for their school and community. As a result, students develop deep content knowledge as well as critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, and communication skills. What are the core elements of project-based learning? For the PBL to be authentic and high quality, each lesson should be incorporated with core components. Without one of these components, the process of PBL and its impact on students are weakened. Thus, teachers must ensure that these elements are incorporated in their PBL lessons. These elements are standards, a range of content knowledge that is clearly focused on conceptual development and is integrated through lessons. Authenticity and relevance addresses a real-world challenge, need, problem, or concern. Inquiry provides driving question that ties to an authentic problem as students research and investigate solutions to a problem. Student voice and choice provides opportunities for students to share their ideas, opinions, and solutions, as well as make decisions based on personal preference, interest, and background knowledge. Collaboration stimulates students to co-construct knowledge and to share ideas and knowledge. Employability or 21st century skills incorporates employability skills such as critical thinking, communication, collaboration, technology use, innovation, self-direction, and persistence. Community partners involves community partners who have played an integral role throughout the PBL and provide feedback and/or contribute to the final evaluation. Feedback and revision. Students receive frequent and timely feedback on their works in progress from teachers, mentors, and peers, and are given time to use the feedback to revise and improve their end products. Publicly presented product. The end product is a culminating exhibition, presentation, or activity in front of an informed audience. And reflection. Throughout the competency and afterwards, there are deliberate times of reflection in regard to learning and progress. How is PBL different from doing a project? Projects have always been a part of class requirements for our learners. But project-based learning is entirely different from just requiring students to do or submit a project. So what makes PBL different from doing a project? Doing a project is just an add-on to the traditional instruction. Usually, it is done at the end of the unit, while in PBL, instruction is integrated into the project, meaning the project itself is the whole unit or lesson. In doing a project, the students just follow directions of the teacher, while PBL is driven by student inquiry. Doing a project focuses only on the product. PBL focuses both on product and process. Often, in doing a project, the product is unrelated to competencies and skills of the learners. while PBL is aligned to academic standards and success skills. A project can be completed alone and can be done at home, while PBL involves collaboration with students and in-class guidance from the teacher. Usually also, doing a project and the outputs remain within the school world, while the products in PBL have real-world context and application. Finally, in project making, the end results would be displayed only in the classroom. On the other hand, the results of the project in PBL is shared beyond the classroom with the public audience. What are the steps in implementing PBL? First, start with an essential question. The question that will take off a PBL lesson must be one that will engage your learners. The question should be open-ended and one that will pose a problem or a situation they can tackle, knowing that there is no one answer or solution. Examples of these questions are: how can growing a vegetable generate an income at home or market? How can ratio and proportion help solve daily life problems? How can following directions help in generating income at home or market? Next, design a plan for the project. When designing the project, it is crucial that you have in mind which competencies will be addressed. You may include the learners in planning. When they are actively involved in decision making, they will feel ownership of the project. Choose activities that support the question and utilize the curriculum, thus fueling the process. Integrate as many subjects or competencies as possible into the project. Know what materials and resources will be available to the students to help them. For example, in life and career skills, we may ask students to grow a certain plant as an income-generating potential at home and in the market. We can integrate here also a competency in communication skills such as following directions, and another competency in mathematics and problem-solving skills such as solving daily life problems involving ratio and proportion. Third, create a schedule. Create a timeline for project components. Expect that changes to the schedule may occur. Be flexible, but help the students realize that a time will come when they need to finalize their thoughts, findings, and evaluations. Consider these issues when creating a schedule. How long will the project be done? Will this project be conducted during the entire school day or during dedicated blocks of time? How many days or hours will be devoted to the project? Fourth, monitor the students and the progress of the project. To maintain control without preventing learners from taking responsibility for their work, follow these steps. Facilitate the process and the love of learning. Teach the learners how to work collaboratively. Designate flexible roles for group members. Have students choose their primary roles, but assume responsibility and interactivity for all group roles. Remind them that every part of the process belongs to each individual and needs each student's total involvement. Provide resources and guidance. Assess the process by creating project rubrics. Fifth, assess the outcome. Assessment meets many needs. It provides diagnostic feedback. It helps teachers set standards. It allows one to evaluate progress and relate that progress to others. It gives students feedback on how well they understand the information and on what they need to improve. And it helps the teachers design instruction to teach more effectively. Whenever possible, give also the learners the opportunity to conduct self-assessment. And finally, evaluate the experience. Allow for individual reflection, such as journaling, as well as group reflection and discussion. For example, validate what students have learned and make suggestions for improvements. To enable effective self-evaluation, follow these steps. First, take time to reflect, individually and as a group. Second, share feelings and experiences. Third, discuss what worked well. Fourth, discuss what needs change. And fifth, share ideas that will lead to new questions and new projects.